I wanted you to know that we're going to be doing more things for community service and volunteerism per your request. Gail's going to give us a little update in a little bit in her report on the food pantry. We're going to do some Salvation Army bell ringing over at Walmart, if anybody wants to do that. Meineke Veterans Day event, our automotive faculty and students are going over to Meineke in Lewis, in Rehoboth, Lewis area, the Saturday after Veterans Day, and they're doing free oil changes to veterans. And you wouldn't believe the number of students that are going over there. I just signed off on their field trip form or whatever. It's incredible. So, and then we're also, I know we'll be doing Salvation Army stockings again this year through ABG, right? I put that in there. I just made the assumption we do it every year, right? Okay, good. And if you guys think of other things you'd like to do service-driven on or off campus, please let me know. Shoot me an email, okay? So good job with all of that. And then our focus on wellness. So we had a great turnout for the Run White and Blue. Many of you walked or ran if you didn't help volunteer. We had our Fitbit challenge. A bunch of us did the Sposato 5K, not just because there was wine at the end, although that was a good plus, but because it benefited our ag students. So the Sposato family has a scholarship for landscape horticulture students here at Delaware Tech. And that 5K supports that. So next year we want to have a bigger group go. It's a great walk run. So I know Cassie will help me next year and Jason, and we're going to try to get more people to go to support our ag program. And then we had tried something new this year. We did the Governor's Cup walk, and those of you that came in the morning, that's the bottom picture. We were a little chilly that day. You also know that I was running around Student Services Center because I was afraid I wasn't going to have any friends to walk with me. But I was pleasantly surprised that we had 26 walkers in the morning and we had 38 walkers in the afternoon. So it was fun for everybody to wear their Delaware Tech gear, get out and walk a little bit and have fun on campus. So thank you for participating in that. So coming soon, a couple things that are coming up that you might want to keep on your calendars or keep tabs on is the Fall Fitness Olympic Challenge. So this is through our Wellness Center. I will tell you this is an advanced challenge. I will not be participating. Teams of 3 for 6 weeks, 2 fitness events each week. You have to do push-ups, sit-ups. I don't know. There's some of you in this room that can do it. So I want to see you do it. I just don't think I can. So more information from Justin in the Fitness Center. And then the second one, which I am going to participate in, I hope you will too, is maintain, don't gain. So during the holiday season, obviously we eat a lot of food, a lot of stuff, and so there's going to be some educational seminars, and hopefully we can keep walking and encourage each other to at least not gain any weight during that time. So Justin has information about that. I encourage you to participate in those activities. And the last thing I put on here is Fitness Fridays. So this is just something that we were talking about. People enjoy doing the Governor's Cup and kind of wearing their Delaware Tech gear and walking. So I have to think through this a little more, but I think maybe we could do some Fridays where everybody wears their Delaware Tech gear and we come together and do a little walking or an activity together to promote the wellness and fitness and promote kind of our sense of community. So stay tuned, more to come on that one. And if you have any ideas for ways to continue our focus on wellness, fitness, and work-life balance, please let me know. Okay? Any questions about that? Okay, so the Fitbit Challenge. You can meet our teams here. And we have the HR Soul Sisters right here, SOLE. We have Lost in Pace. We have the Pecans, or Pecans, I don't know, I never say that right, but I'm not sure why they're named that, but maybe they'll tell me sometime. We have Team Luck. Where's my mouse? Hold on. Team Luck. Now this is Luck because it's Leslie, Christine, Christy, and Kathy. It took me a little while to figure that out. And then we have Marketing, Set, Go. And then we have the Ladybugs, and I think you all know why we're the Ladybugs. And so I wanted to give you a little summary of how we made out. So 5 weeks, 6 teams. Look at all the divisions represented. My office, CCIT, Communication and Planning, Development, Instruction, HR, Public Safety, Student Affairs, and Workforce Development and Community Education. And we walked over 4,680,000 steps in 5 weeks. So let's clap for that. So I do think we're probably going to be doing another Fitbit challenge in the future, so I hope more people will join in. It was a lot of fun. My team, we joked, we said, well, we're not in it to win, we're just in it to get up from our butts a little more frequently during the day and walk around. And we did that, and it was funny because the first week we were like, pretty low on points, myself included, and then we started encouraging each other, and then there were these text messages going on, like, come on, get up and move, and it was really a lot of fun, and it does help us get up and get away from our desk a little bit. So hopefully when we do a Fitbit challenge again, others will join us. It wasn't very hard to do, it was pretty easy. All right, is Justin here from the fitness center? All right, so I think that Justin wants to come down and announce the winner, is that right, of the Fitbit challenge? Come on down. That's a lot of steps. 4 million.
And I'm trying to time them right too.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I think some of the people who won, the winning team was the Pecans. I don't see, is Amanda here?
Oh, there's Amanda.
Hey, so all right, so we had Amanda, Brent, who's not going to be here. Deborah, is Deborah here?
She's teaching. She told me she's teaching, yeah.
And then
Was it
we had
Mom?
Molly Carter.
Molly Carter. Is Molly here? Oh, Molly's here, good.
Hey, so these guys did
A little over a million steps
a
themselves.
little over 1 million steps themselves in 4 weeks.
But I just want to say, little disclaimer. They had Brent Geyer. The man walks for a living all over our campus. So, but I'm just saying, no bitter feelings here.
But Amanda and Deborah and Molly held their own as well.
They did. I'm teasing.
good.
I'm teasing.
So congratulations to those guys. We are going to be presenting your awards when we can get the whole team together, not just 2 of you.
And do a picture.
And do a picture, yes.
Okay.
So
All
not
right.
today. Originally we were until
Yeah.
I found out that they weren't going to be here. But great job. And then again, like you said, the Maintain Don't Games coming up and the Fall Fitness Olympics. So again, it's about getting you guys up, getting you guys moving, getting you guys to kind of rediscover that play that you had when you were younger that kept you more active, kept your metabolism was a little higher. So during the holiday season, think about maintaining and not gaining. And even so, though the Fitbit challenge is over, you can still download the app and still invite friends and still challenge yourselves and others to move around a little bit more. I know Bobby encourages that.
Yep, I do.
All right,
All
thanks,
right,
guys.
thank you. Thanks, Justin. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over next to one of our Owens girls, as I always say. Judy Seipel, our Vice President for Institutional Effectiveness and Development, is going to give us a development update. Please welcome Judy.
All right, good morning, everybody. I appreciate having time on your agenda because we have all kinds of stuff going on in our development division, and this will give you a little bit of an update. But to start, I need to provide a little bit of background about the division over the last few years. How many of you have been here since before 2014? Most of the room, right? Because we come to Delaware Tech and we stay, right? Yeah, so back in 2014, you may remember that we began to do a reorganization of the development division in order to address the need to bring in additional funding for the college. Some changes were made as a result of that organization. First, development responsibilities were removed from the assistant to the campus director positions, and those positions were retitled Director of Communication and Planning. Here at Owens, it seemed seamless because you already had a Director of Development, but the other campuses did not. So that was the first piece. We also took grants and alumni responsibilities and we centralized them at the Office of the President. And the board identified and approved 7 new positions for the division to support the new structure. But what happened in 2014? Enrollment declined, right? We don't have the money for 7 positions. So we were able to fund 2 of those, and those were the Director of Development positions at both the Terry campus and the Stanton George campus. So in spring of 2015, we filled those 2 positions, as well as a vacant position. If you all remember Barbara Ridgely, another Owens girl, right? She was our Assistant Vice President for Development up at the Office of the President. She retired. So in addition to the 2 new director positions of development at Terry and Stanton George, we also filled that vacancy due to her retirement. That was all in the spring of 2015. So really, it's just been 2 short years that we've had that structure in place, and we've made a lot of progress in building the infrastructure for fundraising at the college. And last year, the board created a board development committee made up of board members and some external individuals, business leaders, community leaders, and that was done in order to further support this area at the college. So with all of that in place, it really made it the right time to start thinking about a new major gift campaign or a capital campaign. So this summer, we contracted with a consultant to conduct a planning study to investigate the feasibility of a $30 million campaign over 4 years. The study was pretty comprehensive. It included an internal assessment of our staffing, of our development database. It provided key findings from strategic discussions with 54 individuals and also an e-survey that was filled out by 180 individuals, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And then they took our data, they looked at our fundraising efforts over the last few years, they looked at our database, they analyzed that, and then presented findings from the study to recommend a campaign goal. Through the strategic discussions and the online survey, they also tested 3 funding priorities, and those are the 3 that you see on the slide. The first one, transform learning environments, that's just fancy speak for capital and deferred maintenance needs. We all know that that has been the college's biggest priority over the last few years. In the event that we go forward with a $30 million campaign, 2/3 of the campaign funding will be allocated toward capital and deferred maintenance. So if it's 30 million, that would be 20 million. And I need to talk a little bit about this now because people, when presenting this figure, have asked, what about CCIF? What about Senate Bill 50 and what was previously Senate Bill 137 2 years ago? Is that going to negate the need for that? The answer is no. And I need to tell all of you that because people, when they find out you work at Delaware Tech, and if we roll this campaign out, which is bigger than anything we've ever done, you're going to get asked that question. What you need to know, and I think you've heard before, is we have nearly $100 million worth of deferred maintenance needs and capital needs. 20 million is just going to put a small dent in that. So the answer is no, it doesn't negate the need for Senate Bill 50. We still need that. That's still one of the college's biggest priorities that we will continue to seek. The other 2 areas for the campaign that we're considering are invest in student success, which would basically allow us to develop new credit programs and also fund some scholarships for credit individuals. And then the third area, we need to develop non-credit programs. I think Chris will be the first one to tell you this area has really ramped up. There are a lot of businesses out there right now that need industry-recognized certifications. They don't necessarily need an associate degree. They need to get their workers back and retrained in certain areas. So there's been a lot of growth in this area, and the campaign would help to fund that development of new programs there, and also scholarships, because those students currently do not qualify for federal financial aid. Okay. So the results of the study were presented to our board development committee last month. And the study found that these 3 funding priorities did resonate with the community. The study also validated the feasibility of launching a 4-year, $30 million campaign. But before we launch a campaign, the consultant recommended that we do the following. We need to refine our campaign funding priorities in order to prepare a case for support that demonstrates with specific details why these investments are necessary and why they're necessary now. They also suggested that we create development systems and a staffing structure that is focused on major gift outreach and frontline fundraising with a college-wide focus. This includes funding and filling open development positions as we can, and completing an assessment of our donor database to ensure effective and proper systems are in place to support the campaign. Their recommendation also included identifying a campaign chair, recruiting and training volunteers, because we've got to put together a campaign committee. We need to begin to research and cultivate relationships with identified prospects, continue to strengthen our outreach, and communicate the impact of Delaware Tech in the community. And finally, we need to develop a comprehensive campaign plan and timeline. So the findings and recommendations generated a lot of discussion at our Board Development Committee meeting last month, especially around areas such as infrastructure, campaign priorities, the timeline, and the overall campaign amount. As a result, the committee only voted on the type of campaign that we would move forward, which is a comprehensive campaign versus a capital campaign. And what that means is that over the next 4 years, everything that we raise would go toward the campaign. Just to give you a sense of where we are right now, last year we raised $4.8 million, more than any other year at the college. The previous year we raised $2.4 million, so we jumped, almost doubled our fundraising. And that is attributed to the work that the board has been doing to support us in this area, the staffing that we were able to hire and put in place, and the infrastructure enhancements that we put in place. So if you think about it, if we're already raising $4.8 million over the next 4 years, if I round up, that's about $20 million, right? So it would be $10 million additional dollars that we would be looking at over 4 years, going toward one of those 3 funding priorities that I talked about. And while the Board Development Committee did vote in favor of the comprehensive campaign, it was with the caveat that this topic would be discussed at the board retreat, which was held was it last week? Time is flying. Well, last week or the week before. During that board retreat, we talked about the reorganization of the development division. Just like I started today's presentation, we needed to give them that history of where our division was, because a lot of our board members have been here for only 2 years or less. They weren't here when that action was taken back in June of 2014. We discussed the need to provide a solid foundation for a successful campaign, specifically a stronger culture of giving, and an enhanced infrastructure. We have made a lot of strides in fundraising since the FY15 reorganization. However, we still have a long way to go in terms of building infrastructure. And finally, we provided the board with some details during the retreat about exactly what would be funded through a $30 million campaign under those 3 areas that I talked about. And then we discussed the timeline for launching a campaign. So I just spent some time talking about the development division's infrastructure. And one of our immediate next steps is to continue to build that infrastructure. And that includes our prospect and donor database, as well as looking at our people. We also need to enhance our culture of giving and help donors and prospective donors, and even in some cases, our employees. We need to help them shift their thinking from campus-based fundraising to a college-wide focus. Does that mean that there are never going to be campus needs for fundraising? No. The students are here, the needs are here. What we need to do, that's not what I'm saying at all. What we need to do is shift the thinking and start presenting that from a college-wide focus. One way that we can begin to share that message, we're going to have a meeting on November 16th, a joint meeting of our Board of Trustee members, of our Educational Foundation board members, and also of members of all 3 campus development councils. You all, I think, know there's a campus development council in place in each of the counties, and that's made up of business and community leaders who just volunteer their time to help us raise awareness of the college and also raise money for the college. We're going to use that meeting on November 16th to network, provide an update similar to this one, and then get that group to begin thinking of themselves as a college-wide unit. Another important next step is to finalize the details around the campaign. We need to write that case for support, finalize the dollar amount of the campaign, determine a timeline for launching it, and identify outside volunteers to serve on the campaign committee. And finally, we want to bring all of you into the conversation, because if we're going to be successful with this campaign, it's going to take the part of every single person in this room and those who weren't able to make it this morning, the entire Delaware Tech family. I need to be clear, because we're not going to ask you to go out and ask for money. We know that's not everybody's favorite thing to do, right? We're not going to do that. But where we do want to get you involved is to help us identify people who can help us with this campaign, whether it's from a volunteer standpoint or providing a contribution standpoint. If you're close to an employer or a community member or an alumnus who you think could help us with this campaign, tell me about it. Tell me, tell Jason, tell Bobby. We're not going to ask you to do anything more than perhaps just make an introduction and get those folks on campus, because we know that when people get on campus and they see what we're doing here, it really resonates with them, and that can go a long way. And we'll take it from there. But we do want to know about those relationships that you have, so those that you think would be a good match for connecting with the college. So please start thinking about that and give us a call or email us if you want to talk. So as we finalize details around the campaign, we're going to continue to keep you informed. This campaign, like I said, it's bigger than anything we've ever done at the college before, and it's critical to allowing us to keep advancing our mission, supporting our students, and meeting the workforce needs of Delaware. So what do you think? 30 million, is it a lot? Yeah, do you think we can do it? I see nodding heads. Yeah, I think we can, yeah, and especially right up here in the front row. I like that. That's fantastic. We have a great story to tell. So once we start telling that story and we get it out there and people understand where that money will go and how it helps Delawareans and our students, you know, I'm optimistic as well. So stay tuned. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Quiet group this morning. Go Red. Oh, now one, all right, so I need to explain that comment. One might think he's taunting me, right? One might think I might be a huge Eagles fan, and I'm going to the game tonight, Kyle. You know that, right? All right, I'll give you a call tomorrow, Kyle. All right. Any other taunting or questions? Anything out there? No? All right. Well, we're happy to answer questions as you think of them. Just give us a call. And I appreciate your time today.
Like I said, she's an Owens girl, so yeah, when you come back, you got to take it, right? Next up is Jason. He's going to ask for money. No, he's going to...
All right, well, we got to get started on 30 million, so get the checkbooks out. Just kidding.
We'll start with $30.
$30. That's right. So out in the hallway, we were talking about 30 prizes in 30 days, so just wanted to give an update on where we are and talk about some of the things that you can help out with over the next 8 days. Get this out of my back pocket. So last year, we were able to sell 646 tickets, which raised $19,380 for scholarships for international study abroad and the Global Understanding Program. As of this morning, we were at 288, thanks to Miles and several others. We're up over 290, so sold a few more tickets, which is over $8,600. So the goal is still 1,000 tickets, so hopefully we'll get there. But if we could get back to 646 and surpass that, that would be a great year. So I just wanted to run through the website so you can see all the fun prizes that we have this year. When we started out, we called it 30 prizes in 30 days, but we're at 90 prizes. So a lot of great donations from the local community. So on the website, clicking on the prize list, you can see all the prizes. A great first day with an Apple Watch as the first prize to get it kicked off. A lot of great donations here. A lot of golf packages that are available. A nice basket of produce from our Delaware Tech farm.
Kyle, I forgot to tell you about that. We good?
A lot of good restaurant gift cards, hotel stays, Delmarva Shorebirds package. So you can go through the list and see a lot of great items. It's nice that we're all getting local donations from local businesses. And that's one of the things we wanted to continue from the fashion show and the village shops, is that we are supporting local businesses. So all the prizes are there. You can go online, buy your tickets on the site here, putting in different names, adding in additional names for the people if you want to buy tickets for other people in your family. Great stocking stuffers. Well, I guess it's a little early, but hopefully they'll win a prize by then.
You can put the prize in their stocking.
Yeah, that's right. Prize in the stocking. So on November 1st, we'll start with the drawings. And as you know, last year we took some great videos. Here's update this. And all the winners are listed on the website as well. So we'll be outside after the event. If you'd like to buy a ticket, you could buy it online. If you want to be included in all the drawings, just buy it before November 1st. So, any questions? We appreciate your support, and the great thing about this is that it's all profit goes straight to the students for scholarships. So, thank you for all that you do. Thank you.
Is this on? Can you hear me? Okay. I'm the active guy. I got to walk around, so I apologize. Is it on? You can hear me. There we go. How about now? Whoa. Okay. It's Monday. Sorry. Oh, thank you. Okay. I think everybody knows me. I'm Galen Purcell, the Chief of Public Safety here. Think back to grade school or maybe even some of your employment. Has there ever been a time you had to do a fire drill? Raise your hands. All right, everybody. Cool. And why'd you do a fire drill? Right. Practice, right? Because just in case there's a real fire, won't be the first time you're thinking like, oh goodness, what do I do when there's a fire? So you do fire drills. The CDC does them monthly with the kids, and they do a great job. It's almost kind of fun for them. So I know over the last year or two, big emphasis on run, fight, fight in the public safety world. We've been trying to emphasize that. It's on the website and all that kind of stuff. And Director Winstead, when I got hired in April, my first chiefs meeting we had, he was emphasizing that throughout the college, there was a lot of feedback from faculty and staff that, you know, these videos are great and all that, but they felt there was a need for maybe a drill or what you would do specifically. We talked about that in August, I believe. I covered some of those things. So the natural progression of that, the next step of that is to actually have a drill. So we're going to do that. And we're being very, very, very transparent. Our intent is not to scare anybody or anything like that. It's just to do a drill, just like a fire drill. So who here works in arts and sciences? So a lot of folks. Who here will be in arts and sciences 10:30 Friday morning? Okay, we're going to have some fun together. So here we go. Okay, so this Friday at 10:30 a.m., and we put this on the portal, so hopefully everybody had a chance to read this. We're going to do a lockdown drill. We've coordinated through the campus director. I met with Christy Moriarty and Leslie. I met with Pam just to make sure. I talked to human resources. I went to the math lab. So we're trying to hit all the bases there to make sure everyone's familiar with what's going on. So 10:30 a.m. this Friday. So any faculty, staff, or students who are in the building that time will participate in the lockdown drill. So probably half of you that raised your hand just decided I'm going to be out of the building when that happens, probably. But that's not our goal. But hopefully you'll be there and participate. And again, the purpose is to increase awareness of what one should do in the event of actual lockdown. So what we'll do, we'll announce the drill at about 10:30 that morning via the public address system. Commence lockdown drill. And I'm going to cover the steps here that we want everyone to do. And again, this is a drill. It's not to scare anybody or anything like that. Obviously, in a real lockdown, it's going to be a high-stress situation, right? So we got to keep it, it's called a high-risk, low-frequency event. So you have to keep things simple. I can't say, well, do these 27 things, because probably after 2 or 3, it's going to be out the window, right? Because you're going to be under some stress. So we're going to keep it very, very simple. This is all we want folks to do. Again, I showed the video in August. the young lady from Virginia Tech, who talks about lockdowns and lockouts and all that kind of stuff. So there's the link, and it's also on the board. So you may want to view that just to refresh your memory for Friday. So here we go. Here's how complicated this is. All we're going to ask you to do, we'll announce the drill. Most of you are very familiar with the magnet that's on the door frame. If you have a metal door frame, if it's a wood door frame, the magnet won't be there because it will stick to wood. But I think in arts and science, they're mostly metal. I think that's just adjacent. We have some wood ones, but I could be wrong. So obviously you're going to slide the magnet up so that the door will lock, right? That's the first thing, because in a lockdown, if there's an intruder in the hallway, whatever, we don't want them to be able to get to where you are. So you can just slide the magnet up, pull the door shut, and lock it. Turn the lights off to the room or office. If you're in a room with students, we're going to cover what to do. If you're just in your office, I've even stopped by and talked to some of the folks in their offices and told them, you know, slide the magnet up, lock the door, turn your lights off. I was talking to Nancy, is it Broadhurst? Is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking to her. She has a curtain in her window, which is great because you can't see. And I said, I would still turn off your light so no one knows you're there, but it's nice you have a curtain there. So I'm not saying you have to have a curtain, but that's just an added measure of protection for the drill. So turn off the lights. If there is a curtain or blinds or something, certainly close those. Next thing you want you to do is just hide in a corner away from the door or window. Because if you turn off the lights, that's great. But if an intruder was to look in and you're right there, that's not good, right? So you want to get away from the door or window. I know the math lab, I stopped in there. Any of those folks here? No, 'cause I did stop in and talk to the folks there a couple Fridays ago. And we kind of went over where it'd be a good place for the students to go and things like that. They have those big glass doors. So I want you to hide in the corner away from the door or window. If you got a little teeny office, your best bet may be just to hide under your desk. So you just kind of crouch down and hide under your desk. In a real event, I'm sure you'd be curled right under there right away. But the point is to not be visible. If an intruder looks in, doesn't see anything, the intent is hopefully they move on, right? We're trying to buy time. Remember the video? We're trying to buy time for all this. And next thing is silent cell phones. That's one I'm guessing most people will forget in a panic because you don't think of that, right? It's here and you're. The other three are kind of common sense. Lock the door, turn off the light, get away from the door or window. But then silence your cell phones because again, heaven forbid, Murphy's Law, right? When you're trying to hide and be quiet, it's when your cell phone goes off. There's some telemarketer calling you, right? So just those four things. Any questions on those four things? We really want to keep it simple and kind of common sense type stuff. I think I don't have too much more. Okay, so once you complete those things, we'll come around, public safety, we'll be like not the judges, the evaluators, whatever. We may knock and say, public safety, we'll have a key obviously to get in, so if your door's locked, then we're probably just gonna come in and look. Is everybody in the corner, the lights out, that kind of thing, just do an evaluation type thing. We won't do a debriefing then, it'll just be kind of, we'll announce, we'll knock, public safety, go in, we'll take a look, and we'll move on to the next work area. So if you hear that, expect that, that's us. And then there'll be an all clear announced on the PA system, and then the drill's over. Our hope is, I'm talking like 10 or 15 minutes max. That's our goal. I don't think it should take much longer than that. Our intent's not to interfere with the academic day. Okay, I think this might be my last slide. Lastly, and I think this was a great idea, Bobby brought this up to have a debriefing afterwards for the whole campus community, not just the folks in arts and sciences that morning. Kind of, lessons learned or what worked, what didn't work. We can give our findings that, like, well, people were great about locking the doors, but they didn't get in the corner. They forgot to turn off their lights, or we heard cell phones going off, that kind of thing. And that'll be for everybody to be right here, November 3rd at 1 p.m. Hard to believe November's almost here, right? You think, November, that's not too far off. So, November 3rd, 1 p.m., we'll do a debriefing here, and that's for everybody. I think the goal is we're kind of starting on a Friday. We know there's not going to be a lot of people there. That's by design, just to kind of do our first one. And I think what's going to happen in 2018 and in the future, this will probably become bigger and more involved. We'll do Jason scare anybody, we're trying to be very transparent, but that's the goal with these. This is just the first one. Pretty sure it's my last slide. Hopefully, I was right at 5 minutes, yeah. Any questions for me about this? Yes, ma'am?
So on the third, we have a faculty professional day scheduled the whole day. Is that gonna be?
It's not a mandatory. This is just for people that want to come to the
Sure,
district.
but, encouraging faculty to attend. We have that speaker. The, IIC mindfulness seminar.
Oh, I didn't know there was something scheduled that day. Should we look at another date
I didn't know, it was just a faculty professional development.
all day long?
It's an in and out though, Molly, correct? It's not like a scheduled, you're doing the professional development with faculty and now when the mindfulness speakers. We can figure it out.
Well,
Until Thursday.
Christy, why don't you and I follow up, okay? I wasn't aware that there was something that afternoon, so we'll figure it out. We'll check the portal, I'll send out an updated email, okay, with the debriefing.
Great. Well, thanks
Yeah,
for bringing
thanks
that
for
up.
making us aware,
Yeah,
appreciate
okay.
that.
Anything else, public safety in general? You've got the Ask Bobby coming up, you can ask me. Public safety, anything? Very good, thank you for your time. I'm not sure who's next.
I think Gail is, and she's
Oh,
coming
okay.
right up, yep, she's all set.
Are you Grit?
I'm not,
Oh,
but I have grit.
you have Grit.
I do.
What do you, where do you have your own?
I am student affairs. You don't, I don't need, thank you.
We have so many exciting things happening around campus, and I'm glad to be here today to share two of them with you. First, we have a brand new team of SGA officers for this academic year. Miles Weber is our president, Michael Swedlow, our vice president, Shanique Johnson, our secretary, and Safi Furlow, our treasurer. And they're here today to say hello.
How you doing? My name is Miles Weber. I am the president of the Student Government Association. My degree, my major is electronics engineering and technology. And Ms. Gale said I can give a brief one-liner of what I'm going to do. And so here, I'm going to tell you. I'm glad you asked. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue Deltec's greatness. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Michael Swedlow, the Vice President of SGA. I also work at the Tutoring Center to tutor accounting. And very nice to meet you. Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sure a lot of you all know me already. My face is popular all over campus. I'm Shanique Johnson, and I'm a nursing major, and I am the secretary for the Student Government Association. Like I said, I'm all over the place, so wave to me when you see me.
Good morning, everybody. I am Safi, also known as SJ. What's up? I am the treasurer of SGA, and my major is electrical computer engineering. And my little one sentence is, I plan on making a positive feedback, well, not positive feedback, positive impact in our school, and thank you for having me.
Thank you all. We ask that you please encourage students to attend the monthly SGA meetings, and those are listed on the student activities calendar on the portal. You can find those dates. Thank you. Thank you. Next, as Bobby mentioned earlier, we are very excited about our new food pantry. Sponsored by the Harry K. Foundation, the pantry is here to serve both our credit and non-credit student population. Administrative Services has prepared a wonderful space for us in the Student Services Center.
near the ATM and vending machine in the dining hall. We are currently preparing for setup, and we hope to open in November. That is our plan. In the next couple weeks, please look for an opening date on the portal, as well as opportunities to volunteer. So, thank you.
All right, so next up is our Grit in Action update with Jen Blackwell, who has lots of grit, because I don't know if you saw, I thought she was coming out to take a picture of us when we were doing the Governor's Cup. No, she walked with us in her boot. So talk about grit. This girl's got it. So here she goes.
All right.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to share with you our college-wide presentation from the GRIT Task Force. If you remember at in-service, Dr. Brainerd mentioned the importance of supporting our students in innovative ways in the year ahead. Dr. Angela Duckworth, a researcher at the University of Pennsylvania and the author of the best-selling book Grit, featured on the screen, said that grit is the combination of passion and perseverance. Her research has shown that grit is the hallmark of high achievers in every field: business, education, professional sports, U.S. military academies, entertainment, and K-12 schools. Many times, those that succeeded did not do so because of talent or IQ, but because of the passion or perseverance, toward meaningful long-term goals. So, how can we apply this term of grit and the concepts of grit in a community college setting that will help our students to develop optimism, resilience, and passion? The GRIT Task Force has been looking at this with help from many of you. One way to help our students to be grittier is to set the example and to ask ourselves, how gritty are we? In May 2017, the GRIT Task Force administered Dr. Duckworth's survey through an email to all colleges, full-time and part-time employees. We had a 22% response rate. According to the Office of Research and Analytics, that's really good. Our overall GRIT score for the Delaware Tech employees who completed the survey is 4.1. There is a degree of variation when the score is broken down by gender, generation, time status, and campus. So what does 4.1 mean? A maximum score on the GRIT scale is 5. This means someone is extremely gritty. The lowest possible score is a 1, not so gritty. So compared to a large sample of American adults, a score of 4.1 means that we are in the 70th percentile. GRIT scores are a snapshot in time and will change depending on the situation and when you take the GRIT survey. GRIT's influenced by experience, so consistent with other research, our more mature generations show more grit, which is something that the task force is considering when developing mentoring opportunities and tools for our students. Grit also depends on your ability to get up again and again after you fail or fall down. 58% of our employees identified as neither agree or disagree, or strongly disagree, or did not indicate to the question, how well do you agree that Delaware Tech promotes a culture in which failure is an opportunity to promote resilience and growth? This is an area that the GRIT Task Force will be exploring further, especially related to our characteristics of excellence. 77% of employees that participated in the survey responded strongly agree or agree that Delaware Tech employees exhibit the characteristics of perseverance and determination, which is evident in our high score of a 4.1. This is an essential and important when we look at ways to build our culture of grit. If Delaware Tech employees exemplify grit for our students, this means we can lay the foundation for a culture of grit and resilience. 73% of the survey participants said strongly agree that Delaware Tech students have overcome personal barriers. This is a metric that we're going to watch as our students are surveyed this fall to see if they also personally identify as feeling that they persevere and are determined. If our students do not identify their own skills, how can we, as employees, help them to find that resilience and passion? On your screen, you'll see the common words that showed up to one of the open-ended questions of what tools or strategies do you find most useful in helping a colleague or student to achieve personal goals. As you see, common goals were listening, mentoring, goal setting, time management, breaking down goals, planning, and prioritizing. This is what's informing our programming moving forward. Other themes to a different open-ended question of what are your thoughts or ideas about how the college can grow a culture of grit that will address stress management for staff, faculty, administration, and students. We came up with mindfulness, education, volunteerism, wellness, personal mentoring. These were seen most frequently. This was an important question to identify the specific strategies that we will encourage to overcome any barriers. When we're stressed, we're more reactive, less moments when we feel like giving up. We want people to be more thoughtful and less likely to give in to the failure. We want people to be more mindful. Grit in action. These are just a few examples of where we've seen grit this academic year. We have the Hurricane Harvey, when our community college campuses jumped into action and organized collection drives, and then were able to deliver the supplies to Houston. We also saw it in the Fitbit Challenge, and we know that you see these every day. So in closing, the overview from the GRIT Task Force of what we'll be focusing on the coming months are: this fall, we're presenting at various division meetings, professional development retreats, and the student conferences to help individuals identify how personally gritty they are. This month, like the employees, the students will be given the GRIT survey to determine their own personal score through programming and workshops. And in the spring, we'll have more workshops focused on the specific tools. We also are seeking examples of grit in action. So please, if you identify a moment or instance throughout your day, week, month, or year where you've seen grit in action, email that to me. We'd like to include those in a photographic reflection at the end of the year. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks, Jen, and thanks for bringing up the characteristic of excellence, striving to get it right. For those of you that I had the opportunity to interview and hire since January, that's one of the things I talk to with new employees, that notice the characteristic of excellence doesn't say we're going to get it right every time, right? We're going to strive to get it right. So I said to Jen when she and I talked about the results, I said, I really want to think more about that, because if we don't have a culture where risk-taking is perceived to be okay, how are we ever going to get grittier? So let's focus on that characteristic of excellence and know that as the campus director, I feel very strongly that it's not we're going to get it right. It's nice when we get it right, but at least we're going to strive to get it right. Okay, so keep that in mind. Our last topic before the Ask Bobby is our United Way campaign kickoff with our co-chairs Tom Byrne and Gail Cherrier.
Good morning again. Tom and I are happy to be your United Way co-chairs for this year. We want to begin by thanking you for your support in the past, and we're looking forward to another successful campaign this year. We're here today to ask for your support. The mission of the United Way of Delaware is to maximize the community's resources to improve the quality of life for all Delawareans. They work to advance the common good by focusing on the 3 building blocks to a good life: education, income, and health.
Our friends, neighbors, communities in Delaware go through many challenges. Addressing these challenges demands constant adaptation, resiliency, and spirited engagement. At United Way of Delaware, we are in the middle of a great journey. A journey where all children start school ready to learn. Adolescents make healthy choices. Families are financially empowered. Everyone has access to quality health care, and our seniors age with dignity. Reaching this destination will require all of us to come to the table. We invite you to join us. Take action and be a part of the movement. Give back to your communities. Advocate for causes you believe in, and volunteer your time and your talent to improve the quality of life in Delaware. This is the United Way.
These are just a few of the local organizations that are members of the United Way network. So how can you help? You can give. From now until November 3rd, you'll have an opportunity to give as a member of the Delaware Tech team, and Tom will tell you more about that in just a minute. You can advocate. Spread the word about the causes that you believe in. And you can volunteer. Volunteer your time and your talent as you're able to.
You saw all the different organizations that you can donate money to. If none of those really you really want to donate to, it's really easy just to donate to the Community Impact Fund. The Community Impact Fund supports a whole entire full range of local programs and services in Delaware. And that's just an easy, click it and donate your money and you're good to go. That it's basically the most effective way for all for your donation to go spread out throughout all the organizations. So our United Way campaign kicks off today, October 23rd, and it goes for 2 weeks till November 3rd. You're going to get an e-pledge email, and you should have gotten that at 7 o'clock this morning. You'll see the 2017 United Way login. Please don't delete that email. It's not spam. Okay? Open up that email, maybe put on some music and just roll through it. When you do fire up that email, please use Chrome or Firefox. Do not use Explorer because Explorer can get it doesn't like the site for some reason. We also have team captains. We've kind of like designated a team captain in each division. I just wanted to have everybody stand on the team captains just so you know. Justin, is he here? No. There he is. Mary, Trudy, Beth, Karen, Sonia, Lisa, Kim, Shelley, Kim Burton, Dave, Patrice, Karen, Wendy, Nicole, and Galen. And listen, big thank you for all you guys do. This campaign actually, it wouldn't work without the great team captains. So if you have any questions, you can always contact your team captain. Always, shoot Gail and I am, or give us a phone call. Past participation and contributions the past couple years. In 2015, we've had a 59% participation, $16,168.38 was our 2015. Last year, we had a 63% whatever. we did really well, but this year we are going to do even better. All right, because Gail and I we're ready for this challenge. All right, so 2017, 75% goal. I think we can do it. In the spirit of giving in this employee update, I think we are good to go. So enjoy. Stand by your community. Anything. If it's a hard year for you, a couple dollars, it really makes a difference. It really does. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, so we added, when I came on board as campus director, we added the Ask Bobby, and I have a big mouth, so I don't need the mic, we know that. So anybody have any questions? We'll just take 5 or 10 minutes. Any questions that you have or any information you want to share with me or for me to share with you? Anything you have? You guys wanna let me off easy? Nothing? Do you like getting the emails on Friday, like every once in a while on a Friday, like an update, even when I send them by myself, but I don't know how to work it? Okay, prepare me and train me. Okay, good, so I'll keep trying to do that. Want to continue our focus on the 3 things, so employee and student success. We'll never stop doing that one. Wellness, fitness, and service. You guys still on board with those? Any other things that you want us to try to focus on or think about over the next couple months?
Could we possibly be a Toys for Tots?
Pardon me?
Could we be a Toys for Tots collection area?
A Toys for Tots collection area? We can definitely check into that. Yeah. Is that with Salvation Army as well? How would that work with the, are we technically, or I guess we're not a drop off? Is that the Marine Corps?
Marine.
Okay. I mean, we could definitely look into that. I don't think there's an issue with that. Oh, yes.
I'll take that.
Oh, and we got a volunteer. Thank you, Trudy. All right, so Trudy's gonna look into that and for Toys for Tots, so it can be a drop off. That sounds great. What else? Anything else you can think of? That's a good idea. Yeah.
I went through something, I'm gonna say it. So, I hurt myself, right, and I had to go to a doctor. And my mom said, why don't you just go to a nurse at your school? I said, we don't have a nurse like that. And so she said, well, both your sisters went to SU and they have a nurse.
Right.
And I said, whoa. I said, we're better than them. But I said, the Delaware education is way better.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is, is there something where, because a lot of college students, a lot of community, we need that kind of resource.
Yeah.
And it would be helpful.
That's a question I've been asked before. I know Ileana has been asked that when we do our Dine with the Directors, and that question has come up over the years. We do not provide or have a healthcare facility like a 4-year institution, a residential college. But what we do have is our partners across the street. So we have BB Medical Center across the street. When Jeff Reed and the team at BB built, and we're beginning to build that facility, Jeff was here with us, with Ileana and I as the Dean of Instruction at the time, and said, how can we partner and make sure that we're providing services? I think probably that's one thing we should relook at. Again, I know they've been over there for a couple of years, so Christy and Leslie, maybe you and I could get back in touch, and Gail with Jeff and the team over there to see how maybe we can make that a little more transparent and a little more easy to navigate for our students.
See, and I'm glad you said it because I had no idea.
Yeah.
So it's good to at least bring that to the surface.
Yeah, and and we'll have a traffic light that people can
So
walk
it'll be-
across safely and not get hit by
So
cars.
it'll be safe.
It'll be safe, that's right, Miles. Okay, good. We'll follow up on that. We'll follow up on that. Anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
I'd like to get some information on the food pantry you mentioned.
Yeah. So, Gail, do you wanna, do you have a specific question or
I just
just?
don't know that's the first I've heard of it, and I just don't know how it's gonna operate, is it open for, do we contribute, what?
Sure, yeah, so we will have campaigns throughout the year where we'll have food drives on campus to help stock the pantry. As I said, the Harry K Foundation is the sponsor. So we will have the support of that foundation to keep our pantry stocked. It will be for our students, like I said, our credit students, our non-credit students, and basically how it will work is we will have designated times throughout the week, and maybe a couple hours at a time is how we envision it right now. And we will also have a time for those students to sign up for a particular time frame, probably 30 minutes, where that student only will be coming to the pantry, and then we will have someone else come in and so on as scheduled.
wanted to do that, and so they jumped on board to help us with that. But our other campus locations are also going to be following suit once they get a sponsor, a foundation, or organization to help support the donations of the food. So it'll be a nice opportunity for you all if you want to do some volunteer hours, you know, during the week, and we'll have some way of signing up. Gail and I are trying to figure all that out, but it's another way to give back. Any other questions? Yeah, Patsy, hi.
We were wondering about the Camden Yards alumni event, and there was talk, I know Kelly was kind of working with Nancy and talking to Jordan about getting a bus, because there's so many of us that are kind of planning on going, and we're not really sure what the status of that is.
Yeah, I think, and Judy's here, Judy, you and I have talked about this. I think we have decided college-wide that we're not going to be providing any buses for that. Yeah.
Correct, yeah, so no transportation is being provided by the college, but if people are concerned about that, tell them everything else is free. Food, beverages, parking downtown, everything else is free. So they just have to get themselves there, and what we do is we encourage, you know, individuals who are going, encourage you guys to carpool.
I just wanted to get an update.
Yeah, no, that's good. It was a good question. I'm glad Judy was here, so. Any other questions?